Hey everybody, welcome, welcome. We're
Hey,
wait,
everybody.
we're waiting on the rest of the crew to show up, and I may have to carry the stream because Susie's quiet; she won't talk. So let's see who's in here, real quick. There's Kaylers, there's Lando,
Hey,
Dennis,
guys.
there's Monica Lynn, and I was just telling Miss Susie what she did for the art. Monica, awesome superhero.
It is
Uh,
very, very kind.
Huawei, uh, Paul McCarthy. Um,
I always want to call Paul McCartney.
I do too.
I
Trash
do.
Cat, my adopted granddaughter. I'm not drinking out of my mug tonight. And Susie, I need to get with you when I get some money, and that's about 2 weeks from now. I get my disability and Social Security. So, Worm,
Oh,
what
from
kept
mugs?
you to get some mugs and stuff because I want to
Oh,
start
you got
doing.
to send me your new logo so I can play with it first.
Well, that's the other thing is I want a new logo. You probably didn't notice. You said it several times, and thank you for shouting me out so much in your stream. But it's Kaler's Reptiles and
I
Aquatics
see that
now.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got to get a new logo and get something
Yep.
on it. And there's so many people that want to do them and advertise, and there's a lot of people on TikTok that do them. Like the one that did Aquaballs, he's always asking, telling people he's not a bother. But Worm, when you get comfortable, I'll go ahead and stream. My God, I was having to dodge her. Bless her. She didn't get to go to the laundry, so she's been abused today.
Oh,
Just Princess got
oh,
to go.
what a sweetheart.
But anyway, yeah, I want to get some mugs when I get that logo. But just got so much going on right now. If anybody knows somebody or anybody here does logos, that would be awesome. Because I'd like
I
to.
could try my hand if you tell me what you're looking for.
I kind of want to keep my Goby or Dragonette that I've already got.
Uh-huh.
I had changed back to the Tennessee Fish Mafia or put that on for a while, and I didn't like it. So I went back to the Dragonette thing. And one of my logos, I don't know if it's this one on here, it says Aquatics and Reptiles, and one of them still just says Aquatics.
Well, I think
So,
if you're changing your name to Kaler's Reptiles and Aquatics, maybe it should have one of your favorite reptiles or something.
yes, yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. And a logo is very different than web art. Web art, you
yeah.
can get creative and make your YouTube and make it all fancy, but your logo, you kind of want to keep to one or two colors, something that people will start associating you with.
Yeah, that logo that I have, I liked it, but just the things that you said exactly. And I found it like on like Clip Art. What's the place you can go and buy art?
Canva.
No, one of those. But I found it on that like a year after I'd had it, and I'm like, what the
Okay.
hell? And all he had done was just change a little bit of the red, the shading in it. So I'm like, I'm using art that's not even mine technically.
Right. But if I was, I'll send you a couple things that I think of. If you want one, I'll see if I can find a red dragonette that I own and have the license to use commercially. And I'll make you one. But I didn't know what you want to represent your reptiles.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be orchid, that snake that's so rotten that likes to be around my neck all the time. So.
And what kind of snake is that?
She's a ball python.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a ball python. Tall, hand purple. Oh, that's Bob's channel. Huawei's got the links going. Let me tell you. Thank you for sharing the Tree of Hope, Huawei. It's kind of fizzed out a little bit, so we're redoubling our efforts, and we're not even a fourth of the way to our goal, but we've got till the first of the year. So there's all the links for the Tennessee Fish Mafia.
Monica posted links. You got your links coming out. Good.
Yeah. Ed didn't answer or I didn't see that he had looked at that, but Sunday is his big night for his family, so I think he's probably involved with that. And then Skipper gave a thumbs up.
I saw that, so I thought he was going to be here.
And Pam said she might be here and she might not, that she wasn't going to stream tonight.
She's we can start when Patrick gets here. What do you want to do? Are you going to hit him with a bunch of questions, or just let him talk, or is he going to show off some stuff?
Whatever he wants to do. I have tried so long to hear somebody. Let's hope it's him. It's Pam. There's Pam. Okay.
Sorry to disappoint.
That's
No,
okay. I was-
never disappointing. Is that a teepee? What is
Yeah,
that? I love it.
that's one of my paintings.
Oh wow, I love it even more.
I was just about to tell people that, that didn't know that you had a scald burn, and you're dealing with that right now. So,
Yeah,
Oh no, like hot water?
yeah, like boiling water, like no skin,
Oh,
bright red meat sticking out.
we're going to try to get her in assisted living.
Grasshopper sent me some really good bandages, some gauze that's non-stick, which I really needed,
Yep.
and some coffee,
uh,
which I need too because I can't hardly move. So I gotta have my coffee.
oh.
Yep.
I've been drinking this coconut water that tastes like feet.
I know I was watching you. I was laughing my ass off at the looks on your face when you were drinking that shit.
My daughter keeps telling me it's so good for you to hydrate. It's good because my lips are starting to dry out. I can't seem to drink enough
I
water.
personally wouldn't care if it tastes nasty. I ain't gonna drink it.
Oh gosh, she got me a whole case of it.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, you got lots to go through then.
Maybe you can barter it off for some plants.
You're right. Oh, I got some delicious coconut water.
I lost signal briefly, and you said you needed lots of plants, and I'm going to be sending Monica some. I've been going to be doing that for 2 or 3 months now, but I finally am going to do it. Do you want some plants too?
I would so appreciate that.
It
I have
mostly
two
be
40 breeders and this 30 long that are in desperate need because I'm
Okay.
making them the deep bed, and the only way that works is with lots of plants. And I'm
Hey,
so used
Anthony.
to planting partially and hoping they grow in. I'm like, ugh. And then I got the 140 breeder that's got nothing in it. So thank you.
Anthony's coloring you yourself,
I
Anthony.
love coloring. My favorite is with color pencils. I love coloring.
I haven't done any of that in so long. Pam won't have her art streams anymore now that I like to do art. She
I'm
stopped
going to
doing
have
it.
my art streams. It's just I have not been feeling really good, Bob.
I know.
Me either.
I know.
Like I'm missing this week entirely because I don't want to get up on a stream and then sit there rocking back and forth in pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's like, no, I just don't want to do that.
I don't blame
It'd
you.
be almost like begging people for sympathy or something, and I just don't want to do that.
Kind of like what I'm doing. Hold on, let me.
Exactly like that.
I'm gonna push through today. Yep.
Monica said, "Where's the burn, Pam?"
The burn is not going to fit in a stainless bowl of ice. It is from my knee to my ankle.
Oh,
And
good Lord.
About 6 inches wide on most of it.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought it was.
Is gone, and it's like piled up skin on the sides of the burn and blisters, and then just red meat in the middle of the burn.
I thought it was like from your groin to your knee. I misunderstood where it was.
No, it's from my knee to my ankle.
I bet that hurts.
Oh my
when you
God,
walk.
that's so horrible.
And it's
Yep.
it's not a 3rd degree burn because I looked it up. But it is like for a second. It's like a really severe 2nd degree burn.
Wow.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt if it was 3rd degree.
Or anything like that. But from what they show on a 2nd degree burn, this is a whole hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's in between. It's like I would guess it's like a severe 2nd degree burn.
Yeah. It's what it sounds like.
Wow.
Well, you just got to. I'm glad you got that no stick gauze.
Oh my God. The gauze I was using before was not no stick. Thank you so much, Sam. And I know like it seeps during the night, and then like the gauze is stuck in the morning into the middle of it, and it's like ripping that gauze off. It's like all of my enemies were probably smiling because I think the ripple effect went all the way around the world.
Oh,
Ripped that gauze off. I was like, oh my dear God. So
I keep checking
having
for
the
Padric.
non-stick gauze, thank you, Grasshopper, is
I,
a lot better.
I told him to get the cayenne pepper treated, and he wouldn't go for that.
Oh yeah, that would feel real good too, Bob. I know somebody told me to pour some like cool water on it to help it cool down and like take away the pain. And oh my God, I'm sure people 4 blocks away heard me scream when I poured water on that sucker. That was
Oh,
not a good idea.
here's a pop-up. It says your guest Padric is on Android Chrome, which has a bug that causes echo, and I see he's backstage too. Google is working to fix it for now. Please ask your guest to wear headphones to avoid echo or use a different browser. We also informed your guest. Okay, there he
And
is.
maybe he doesn't have. Understand that the
Maybe he
YouTube has to
doesn't
be
have
off.
Hey, let me find
There
my,
he is.
That's
The man of the
right.
hour.
let me find my Bluetooth earphones.
Do you have headphones?
I don't have headphones, but I got these little things.
Yeah,
I can get
offered
them
to
now.
pee on it.
Hopefully they'll hook
Oh,
up
he's
on
got
it.
some buds.
Did they not hook up?
All right.
Yeah,
Echoes.
there's not much worse than a burn, Craig. I got to admit that.
Well, my headphones won't hook up. Does it have an echo?
Can't hardly hear you. He'll get it sorted. I remember before we had some audio.
I have no idea how to turn it up.
This is so exciting, Patrick.
I don't know why I'm give out from work.
Hey, Mickey M.
Can y'all hear me?
Well, Susie was asking me if we were going to ask you a bunch of questions or let you introduce yourself and talk or what.
Can you hear me okay?
It's very, very low.
I have no idea how to turn it up.
You could try going like to more and settings and volume, like under the picture there. That's all I know about it. You and I are pretty much in the same boat, I'm afraid.
Can you hear me now?
About the same.
But the echo's left.
Yeah. I tried more, and the only thing it had was a place where I could change the way the mic, and I don't have a mic I can plug into this phone. So
And guys, this was very spur of the moment. I asked Padric about 3 or 4 hours ago, and he said, I'm working. And I said, so you can come in late, right? So he said he would. So no time to prepare.
yeah, I don't have a mic anywhere around here. I don't hardly ever do anything on live, so I don't I don't
Yeah, I
have
know.
much.
Well, I have you turned all the way up, and when I do that, I can hear you better. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I don't know what to tell you other than I'll be 74 in January, and I have been crazy about animals and fish and everything else since I was about 7 years old. And so I've had every kind of pet under the world you can think of that I could get away with that my mom would let me have. And I didn't get snakes until after I was in college, so because I wasn't living at home then. And but
Was there a time in your life you didn't have any pets?
yeah, I've gone through a couple of periods where I I didn't have. Well, I had dogs during when I sold my pet store and I started working traveling. I didn't have any pets for about 2 years, and then I got dogs again, and I had dogs and cats, and then I got started back with a few fish, and then I got back into snakes and lizards and stuff about 4 or 5 years after that.
Wow.
So I
Can you tell me about your pet store? That fascinates me.
well, I quit my job working at a hospital and took my savings money and I bought a pet store because I'd always wanted to own one. And my best friend was the manager at the pet store, and he stayed on and managed it with in partnership with me actually, even though it was my money in it. But it was a small pet store here in Auburn. Uh, it was originally called the Pet Stop, and uh, when I took it over, I changed the name of it to Pat's Pets, and we had fish and small mammals and birds and a few reptiles. And my best friend and myself both were raising parrots when I bought it. And so, of course, we had a place to sell all our baby parrots and stuff. But I was fascinated with the fact that I could go to Florida to the importers and I could buy almost anything under the sun and have it in my pet store. And
Wow.
so, I mean, I had turtles and tortoises of all kinds. I had lizards, snakes. I even flew up to New York one time to visit my brother and sister-in-law, and I went to Schwab's Reptiles, and I flew home with spiny mice. I'm trying to think what all I got. I don't know. I had about 20 different reptiles, and uh, I had to ship most everything back, but I had a bunch of baby red-tailed boas. I had 6 of them, and I didn't have room in the box for them, so they all ended up in little tied up in little bags and in my suit coat pockets on the plane with me. Of course, this was before you went through any kind of X-ray or anything else, and so I just got on the plane and I had two in each side pocket and two in my uh, inside coat pocket in the top. And I flew home with those baby red tail boas in my clothes.
Oh my God. Hey, Padric, when you scooted up just a minute then, like when you shifted and came closer, it really increased your volume.
Well, I just haven't moved the phone. I wonder. I mean, and I got full Wi-Fi, so
Can you lean in closer?
I can get this close. That's
That
better.
is a little better. Yeah, that is better. They're saying it's better.
Okay. All right, but I uh, I pretty much taught myself how to take care of things, and of course, my best friend he'd been in the pet business since after he got out of college, so he taught me a whole lot too. And but we used to get in trouble with the local humane society because the lady who ran it was, excuse my French, but she was a bee, and
Like a bitch.
yeah, and and she used to come to the store and raise hell at us about the way we kept our animals. And so tortoises generally don't drink a lot of water. So especially the ones we had at that time were desert tortoises, and they got most of their water from their food. She came in and raised holy hell because we didn't have a water dish in with the tortoises. So my best friend, he has a very dry sense of humor, and he's also kind of vindictive. He went and got rabbit water bottles and hung them on the sides of the tortoise pens. And she came in and she was happy with that. No way in hell a tortoise is going to drink out of a little water bottle with a ball on the end of it.
No, lick a ball.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't know. She just liked to go around and raise hell with people about the way they kept their animals too. She she was something else. But
What?
I had the pet store for 5 years, and of course I bought it right before the Gulf War broke out, and of course the economy kind of went to crap for selling animals and pets, and so we struggled through 5 years, and then a guy came in and was interested and wanted to buy it, so I sold it to him, and then he promptly turned around and asked Robin and I to stay and manage it, and he paid us to run it for him, and so I was there another 2 years, and then when I quit that, I got rid of all my snakes I had at home because I was breeding corn snakes and king snakes at home. Plus, I had all the parrots, and I got rid of all my king snakes and my corn snakes and my other pet reptiles I had, and I carried all of my birds to Robbins and my best friend and set them up over there, and then I took a job uh, traveling, and so for 3 years I think I traveled, maybe four, yeah, and then when I came back and got a job here, I I pretty much have been here ever since, but it took me a while before I started getting back into having stuff. But I think I went maybe 5 years without fish from the time I was 7 years old until now. So I pretty much have I've kept fish since I was seven, except for those 5 years. So
You and I are a lot alike in that. We've talked about that before.
yeah,
I started when I was 7.
and
Yeah.
when I got out of college, when I left the university here, when I graduated, I had 37 aquariums. I managed an apartment building, and we had a storeroom that we kept the furniture that went into the rooms because it was they some of the apartments were rented furnished, and I had set up aquariums in, it, and I was breeding angelfish and uh, selling them to a wholesaler in Atlanta, and I also bought the first pair of red top uh, Pseudotrophus zebra, the Lake Malawi, and let's see what I had them, and I had the Labiotrophus fulbornii, and I was breeding those and then selling those back to the wholesaler in Atlanta that I had gotten the original pairs from. And I moved most all of that stuff home to my mother's when I moved home and took a job in North Alabama and moved back in with my mother. But I ended up there with only about 6 tanks because one of those tanks was a almost 400-gallon tank I built myself out of marine plywood. And it was a huge community tank for a couple of years. And then I had a couple of big red Oscars that were in the house in a 55 that my mother had grown to love very much. And so I ended up moving them into the 400-gallon and bred them, I don't know, for about 2 years in there. And then when I took my first job where I moved away from up there, I got rid of all the fish and moved somewhere else and ended up getting a couple of small tanks and just flew with a couple of small tanks from them. Um, and that would have been in, I guess, in the early 80s. By that time, yeah, it had gotten to the early 80s by that time. And then I got into parrots. And that's when I started having, I started out with one cockatiel. And from one cockatiel, I ended up with about 200 pairs of different kinds of parrots. So I have this tendency to overdo things. It has taken me
Yeah.
being this old, getting to the point where I have to say, okay, I have four snakes that I love and I want, have two lizards, and I have a few fish, and that's all I can deal with because I always get myself into trouble by just adding on, adding on, adding on, adding on, adding on until it becomes too much of a job, and then I lose interest in it because it's more it's it's too much work and not enough pleasure. But I think I broke myself of that, and I've learned my lesson. I hope so.
Well, do you have any fish we can see?
Not really, because the tanks are in horrible shape, and I've been breaking tanks down to make more room in the reptile room, in the fish reptile room. As so,
You're doing the same thing I'm doing.
I got one bristle nose that's about he's going on about 8 years or 9 years old. That I got him when he was probably about a half inch long, and I have two angelfish left. I have one full Borney and one Alana Cara, and I think that's all that's left, fish wise. So I I'm gonna redo everything and get a few more fish again. But right now it's with especially after this last 12 months ago, or not 12, but about 10 months of going through all the health crap I have this year. I let everything go. So I lost a lot of fish, and so it just I kind of lost interest in trying to keep up with it because I just never felt like doing anything. And I do I do have more tortoises than I really ought to have. I've got a trio of redfoots. I've got two separate pair of Russian tortoises, and I've got five Herman's tortoises and one golden Greek tortoise. And I keep thinking about selling the redfoots because they're the only ones that have to come in the house for the winter. And
Yeah.
if I sold the redfoots, then I wouldn't have to have tortoises in the house in the winter.
Yeah, I
And of
love the
course,
redfoot.
they're the biggest of the tortoises I have, and so they're in a 4 foot by 4 foot enclosure, which is like a fourth as big as what they live in outside, and they bang and knock and carry on all the time. They're in another room, but they're not happy in there. They can't wander around, and they've just got room for a food dish and their water dish, and maybe about 3 square feet they can move around in. And so, but they this will be the third winter they've stayed in the house, and last winter they did great, but this winter they are annoying. They are constantly busy moving around in there. Before they used to just go in there hide and hide out, but now then they're out running around and knocking things over. And the male figured out he could pick up the water dish and dump it, so he picks the water dish up and dumps it and drags it to the other side of the enclosure. I, I think they're just bored and they're just trying to find things to do.
Yeah. Get your attention too.
Yeah.
Mickham wants to know if you look for animals all over the world when you travel.
Well, I wasn't traveling all over the world. I was just traveling through the southern states. So, and part of that was just mostly Alabama, traveling all over Alabama. But I would look if I was going. Oh, and I have one Mexican orange kneed tarantula too. That one was a. I had one that I bought off of a kid when I had the pet store. His parents had given it to him when he was think he was 7 or 8 years old, and he was like 17 when he brought it in and sold it to me. And I had her until she was 35 years old when she passed away. And she was a Mexican
Oh,
army snake. And so I was at a pet uh, reptile expo in Montgomery about, what's it, let's me, 5 years ago now. And there was a guy there, and he had a baby Mexican red-knee tarantula. They call them a swing. She was just about with her legs spread out the size of a dime. And uh, so I was talking to him about having the other one for 30, that it was 35 years old and when it died. And unbeknownst to me, my nephew who was with me, he bossed the damn thing for me. And when we got back from the reptile expo, he says, "Here, I bought you this spider." So I ended up raising this one. She's probably about, with her legs spread out, she's probably about 6 inches from leg tip to leg tip. And my other one was tame. You could put your hand down in the cage with her, and she'd climb up on your hand. But I'm
Wow.
not fooled with this one, so she's not very tame. I mean, she's not going to try to bite you or anything, but she won't. She doesn't like for you to pick her up. So
You have a couple reptiles like that.
and well, neither one of my blue tongue skinks like being picked up either. They
do,
Mine
definitely
also did.
do you have any snakes or reptiles inside?
inside. Do I have what?
You have any snakes inside?
Inside? Yeah, all my snakes are inside.
Can you show us a snake?
The lights are off on everybody, but let me see. See if I can find the flashlight anyway, because I can't
Oh,
see
I
the
hear you
light.
much better there.
Yeah, when you were close, heard you. Yeah, real good.
Well,
I
that's
think
weird.
with the way your phone is sitting, I might be covering the microphone.
No, I don't have my hand on it. I've got my hand in the same place I had it.
Huh.
Yeah, we lost you again. It's all right.
I'm
Uh,
bad about that. Put my
right.
hand over the mic.
I
Okay.
always do that.
This is Semi. This is one of the female carpet pythons.
Wow. Make them big, Pop. Oh, yeah.
And she's grown about 3 feet, no, 2 feet since I got her.
Is that the one that went to Steenfox?
Yeah, this is Bob Sting's box, the one that
Yeah.
Sting Fox sent me. And then my, I don't know if you can see him in there. That's the little wild caught male from Papua New Guinea. His name is Janamba, which
What is
means
that?
he's a wild caught Papuan python from New Guinea.
Oh, okay.
His name is Janamba, which in one of the Papuan dialects means means snake. And let's see if we can, where you, he's in the hide box. I can't even I can't even light up. Nah, I was going to show you Magic, my big huge male, but he was in his hide box. Uh, and let's see if I can find Navajo. You can see her. She might be out, or she may be in in her hide box.
You got a lot of space there.
Now here she is. Let's see. And this is Navajo. She's another popping female, and and she is very dark, and she's also hungry 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And This is Boris and Nastasha, the Russians. These I didn't get the other pen built outside for them, so they're having to spend the winter in the house this year.
Uh,
That's 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 Boris and that's Natasha.
I have two Russian tortoises named Boris and Natasha also.
Yeah, well, it's just good Russian names. So, and I mean, I could go back in there and show you what the fish tanks look like, but I'm ashamed of the fact that they are completely algaed up to hell and back. So,
the way you're holding the camera right now is perfect. Can hear you great.
okay, my mic must be on top of my phone then. That's because I'm right above the phone.
Okay.
Well, actually, all the lights are off on the fish tanks. Yeah, you can't. I can't even shine the light on them. Yeah, yeah, I forgot. When the time changed. It makes my lights go off earlier than they did. The only fish tank I've got that got a light on right now doesn't have any fish in it, and that's this one. And that used to have my rainbows in it, my Wanamenesis rainbows, but I lost them about a year ago. So, and there's a tank in my bedroom that the only reason I have kept it running, it has no fish in it, and hadn't had for a long time. Only reason I keep it running is because it's got the best stand of cryptocorynes you've ever seen in it.
Ooh,
That started out as one crypt about 4
wow.
years ago, and I just I keep thinking I should move them to another tank and break it down, and no, I don't. I just keep it going.
Who is that portrait of that handsome man back there, like a room back? It was
What's that?
facing this way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a man's portrait, like an oval frame, I think. I thought
No,
maybe it was you.
not there is one of me, but you can't see it. There's stuff piled in front of it. This is my dad.
Oh, that's not who I thought it was. No,
That's my
it's a different
dad,
one.
and that's my mother. They and yeah, you can't see the picture of me. I don't know. No, I don't. There's not a picture. There's not a
Maybe it
picture.
was that one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was my dad was a MP. He joined the military when he was 14. He's got an uncle to lie for him, and he went. He was an MP in the Panama Canal, and uh, he came home and got out of the army, and then got drafted and sent to North Africa for World War II. So
Wow.
the the picture I just showed you of him was taken when he was at the Panama Canal Zone.
Wow.
So he was probably, I'm gonna say he was 16, probably in that picture. So
Well, having kept fish all these years, do you have any advice you would give someone just starting out?
hmm, well, I never do what everybody else says. I do not do massive water changes very often at all. Uh, I like under gravel filters.
Me
I've
too.
used un- I've used under gravel filters since the probably I started my first under gravel filters probably in the 60s. Uh, I've always grown good plants with an incandescent light and an undergravel filter in about every tank I've ever had. But I generally top my tanks off. Is what I do. I've done one water change since last February this year, and that was only about a third of the tank. And but I've got a couple of deep bed tanks in there, and I like the way they work. So I think when I reset back up, since I'm going all straight to sponge filters and getting rid of all the hang on the back, I think I'm gonna do deep beds when I reset them up in there and get them. And I'm gonna try to keep it down to maybe 3 tanks, so I can have 3 fish I'm interested in. I'm not going to go back to breeding angels. I was tossing the idea around of doing that, but I just don't think I need to deal with trying to raise 500 baby angels every
No,
time I get some.
it's a lot of work.
It is, and that's the whole point. I need to get back to enjoying this and not having to work.
I got into raising just like silver lace angels when I lived in Florida for my local store to help buy food and stuff, and it got to be a real job.
Well, when I got back into raising them here a while, it's been about 6 years ago now. I bought 3 black marble angels at a Pet Smart in Montgomery on a whim, and I had them in this tank in the bedroom, and they grew up in there. I had that set up as sort of a community tank at that time. They grew up in there, and 2 of them paired off and killed the other one. So I set them up in a 29 gallon, and they spawned 4 times. And the first 2 times they ate the eggs. The last 2 times the fry got good free swimming and they ate them. And then they started constantly. And they would raise a group of fry in the tank. I would just let them raise like whatever they raised in the tank. And those would get up dime size and they'd lay more eggs and start over again. And so I had, it was summer, so I had set up about 6 or 8 20 highs in my greenhouse, and so I was raising the fry out there. And I got to the point that I was begging people to take angelfish from me.
Hmm.
And I decided I'm not going to do this anymore. This is too much of a trouble.
Right.
So, and
Yeah, you're.
I don't go to Atlanta and know and there's a couple of fish wholesalers in Atlanta, and well, actually, the old fish wholesaler in Atlanta that I used, they sold to what's the big one out of Florida? Um, that that supplies to all the pet stores. Can't think of the name of it.
Is it Sun?
No, no, it's the other one.
No.
Damn, I know the name of it. Anyway, they sold out to them, and so they're in Atlanta, and they don't buy. They're not. They're not likely to buy large quantities of tank raised babies because they do their own. They're the one that pays people to go out and get the Precostomus eggs out of the banks of the canals in Florida,
Oh.
and then they raise the fry. I can't believe I can't think of the name of that uh, wholesaler.
Well, you said earlier you were that you were using tanks that did have fish in them, that setting up a reptile room. What kind of reptiles are you going to have?
I'm just trying to get everything moved in there. All the snakes are going to be in there, and the blue tongues. And I've got to set up a better system for the blue tongues because right now they're just in flat totes with wire tops on them. but I'm probably going to. I've got I got 240 longs out in the yard that I'm probably gonna that they both are leakers, so probably gonna bring them in and set them up in there and put the blue tongues in them. Even though I let the blue tongues spend the summer outside in an outdoor cage. They seem to enjoy that.
Well, does anybody else have any questions? Or you've had a lot of good comments in the chat complimenting you on the snakes and the tortoises.
Thank y'all.
Anybody have any comments or questions?
That was awesome. I really appreciate that, Patrick.
Yep, it's darker. Well, I can't show you tortoises outside because it's cold here, and they've all gone to bed. They're in their
Well,
under the hay.
I appreciate you doing this. So I practically twisted his arm off. He said,
I'm glad you did.
I said, I'm at work, and I said, so you can come in late, can't you? He did.
He caught me off guard, or I would have thought of a better excuse.
I know. I've been asking him. I said, I've been asking him, and I caught him at the right time. And I asked him earlier how he was doing from his recent health issues, and he said he was doing good.
I'm doing good. I've still got one little problem that I've been dealing with since the middle of June that just won't heal up. And so I went back to the doctor last Thursday, and he's decided that he's going to excise it and send it off and see why it won't heal. I'm not looking forward to having that done. It's an outpatient surgery. Just can go in and cut it out and sew me up and send me home. But let's put it this way: it makes it hard to sit down. And so he wanted to do it this coming Thursday, but I'm flying to my brother's in Wilmington on the following Monday, the 21st, to spend a week with my brother and sister-in-law, my two nephews, and I didn't want to take a chance on being sewn up and then having to sit in a plane seat flying and being uncomfortable. But once I get, but that's not affecting me as far as being able to do anything. I have, by no excuse have I gotten back all of my strength and my stamina, but I can pretty much get most things done. I can work a whole hour in the yard now without having to come in and lay down for 3 hours. Like when I was last summer, I was lucky if I spent 30 minutes outside, it took 3 hours to recover. So, but I have to admit, to myself, I'm not exactly young anymore.
Yeah, I know that. Know how that goes.
It's one of those things about, well, damn it, I wanted to do this, but I'm not. It's just things I want to do, and I realized I can no longer lift shit anymore. I can't walk and carry heavy shit anymore. So I have to wait till I can find somebody to come help me if I want to move something. So,
Hey, Lady D.
Pain in the butt. Hell, I tried carrying a 20 high aquarium out of the fish room and outside this literally I had to come in and lay down, and I wasn't sure I was going to make it out there, and I emptied the damn thing completely out. And you know how much a 20 high weighs, and so I can't even imagine trying to move one of those 40s in here by myself, and I used to move 40s by myself all day long, never think about it.
Since Pam is not streaming tonight, I have to finish up my chores in the fish room. I mean, the reptile room. And moving my last 40 breeder in there is one of the things I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's hard by yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Padric. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We're going to get you a microphone.
At least practice with his cell phone on speaker, off speaker, try a couple different things.
We need to get him a microphone or a headset, and then make him come up again.
Yeah, I've got both of them I don't use. So
got
I'll
a
send it.
laptop. But
What
I
kind
just
of
don't-
phone? Android or Apple?
Android.
What he said?
That's
Android.
Why it came through, that's why it came through Google. Because Android works through Google. Works with Google. I mean, I don't have Siri. I have Hey Google. So I said that, and it's liable to pop up and ask me what I want.
They're saying thank you in the chat, and Padric is awesome, and yes, he is.
We got
All
a
right.
question?
Thank you, sir, and we will see you around. A million thanks. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We're going over to Kenny's in a minute, so
All right.
good night.
I'll probably see y'all over there.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Good night, everybody. Thank
Good
you,
night,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you for the links, Mod. Good night.